I started getting into Warhammer around the tail end of 2019, and since then I've garnered armies in Tyranids, Harlequins, Blood Angels, Grey Knights, Thousand Suns, and Chaos Demons. Started a second channel towards the end of last year called Dice Check, making content based on tabletop games like Magic, 40k, and board games that's been featured on the most popular 40k websites, and soon to be reaching 100,000 subs. You can subscribe using the link in the description. Garnered an incredibly enthusiastic and supportive community for the channel, got an office for the channel, teamed up with the head of the tournament scene in Frontline Gaming, who's now working with Games Workshop, made countless videos on the game, met new people, met pro players, was sent multiple different armies to use from our audience in Chaos Space Marines, Adeptus Mechanicus, amazing Age of Sigmar armies, and even a Chaos Knight with a Magikarp head on it. Needless to say, it's been a very busy and hectic year, but I'm extremely humbled with the support we've been receiving on the Dice Check channel. In all, this past year of getting into Warhammer has been amazing, but it's also had some downsides. And since I've been in this hobby for over a year now, I feel like I can talk a bit about some of the things I absolutely love about the hobby and some things that I absolutely hate about it. So today I'm going to be giving you guys 5 reasons as to why I love Warhammer, and also 5 reasons as to why I hate Warhammer, because we all know if you talk about things that you hate, people apparently love it. Trust me, I made an entire fucking series about it. So first we're going to start off with the things that I love, and then we're going to talk about the stuff that I hate. So to start off with the things that I love, we're going to start off with number 5. Now, coming from League of Legends and other online multiplayer games, check out titties on here. Boom, titty. People tend to hate the game. Warhammer isn't really like that. You know, with games like Overwatch, Hearthstone, League of Legends, especially League of Legends, the overall consensus of the games are pretty negative. People constantly talk about how much they hate the game. I could probably pull up Twitter right now and find at least like one tweet talking about how much people don't like League of Legends or something negative about the game. But with Warhammer, the hate for the game is actually pretty small. Generally, the base game is for the most part balanced, and when you talk about the game with people, it doesn't dilute to just conversations revolving around how much you hate the game, and you know, you guys go back and forth on why you dislike things. It's such a supportive community that you can talk to an absolute stranger about the game and just start talking about the lore, how to paint things, tips on how to play, past experiences, past games. It's so refreshing hearing opinions about a game that isn't just, God, I hate my teammates, played against this character and it was cancer, this ranking system is garbage, why am I even playing this, and all the standard complaints that you usually hear about an online multiplayer game. With 40k, I get to meet people in real life all the time, and that connection is way more pleasant than if I were online. I mean, you can't just show up to a game of 40k, throw a hissy fit about your jungler not ganking you, act like a baby, and curse out your enemy laner because they're literally right in front of you. If you act like that at your local game store, the people there are not forced to play with you. They can decide to not play a game with you. The game store can ban you from any events, and now you have a 2,000 point army of 40k that you spent money on, but you're such a shit person, no one wants to even play with you. Now, I recently joined a league and play against people I don't even know, and when I get to a shop, we can just chat it up about the game while playing and having a genuinely good time. We talk about how our dice betrays us. We talk about shows that we're watching. We help each other out. It's such a casual, friendly environment that when you go into a game, you're legitimately just spending a couple of hours with a random person talking about something that you're passionate about. And I think that's the key here when it comes to the game. It's not just playing the game, it's the interaction you're having with someone in a one-on-one match. The lore about 40k is fucking massive. It's huge, it's enormous. We're talking decades upon decades of a world that's constantly evolving. Some lore is good, and some lore is bad. Some lore is misconstrued, and some lore is canon or not canon. We don't fucking know. You can read things like the Mask of Slaanesh, who was forced to dance forever because they pissed off the chaos god Slaanesh, and now when people look at them dance, they're put into a trance to dance along with the mask until they die. Or the story of the orc Grisguts, who went back in time and shot himself so he can get a spare of his favorite gun. Or the story of when Lehman broke Magnus's back, or how Lehman beat the Emperor in an eating contest. The lore of 40k is so vast, you can get engulfed into the story without even playing the game at all. You can go up to a random person at a local game store playing the game and just have them talk to you about the lore around their army for hours on end. There's so much that's either over the top or stupid, you can't help but get involved because of how dumb it can get. Plus, you have a huge lineup of just books that you can read. There's so much lore that comes into this game that you can get lost just reading the lore by itself. So when I first started, my paint scheme was really simple. So this, very simple, right? And then I just kept painting more and more until I gradually got better and better than the last time. And then I eventually started painting stuff like this, which is like one of my later paint schemes that I did for Chaos Demons. And this one I enjoy a lot. And like, I didn't even know when we first started if I was going to like painting at all, but then it became more and more relaxing. It let me test out like my creativity and try new things and just constantly just keep working on it over and over again. And now I can produce stuff that I'm very happy about. Obviously I'm not like the best painter out there or anything by any stretch of the means, but you know, I'm happy with what I'm making now comparatively to what I used to paint, which was like something like this, which, you know, it's not bad. It's just that I can see myself getting better. Unlike online games where if I stop playing, my rank goes down, you know, because I can spend days trying to climb a ladder only to really get nowhere like many people talk about. Like you can play an entire season and sink hundreds of hours into a game only to really get nowhere. And when you eventually stop playing the game, you don't really have anything to show for it. But when it comes to painting, I can visually see improvement. I can look at my first model and compare it to my latest model and see how far I've come. And even if I stop playing the game, I still have these models I can display or even pass down to my kids someday. Painting miniatures gives you such a sense of accomplishment I've never felt when climbing ranks in a video game, and this is coming from a guy who's played games for years and years on end. Even when I got to Plat in League, it didn't feel like an accomplishment, it just felt like more of a relief, and then I decayed anyway, so there was really no sense of accomplishment of even getting to that stage of the game. With these miniatures though, I can keep painting, I can keep improving, I can keep getting better, and even if I were to plateau, at least I have something to show for it. I'm not competing for painting, all I'm doing is trying to get better than the last time I put paint on a model. And the thing is, I don't have to interact with anyone when I'm painting, it's just me and this model. The way that it looks is based on how I feel and how I want to make the model. Whether it's good or bad, it's something that I'm creating and not something that someone else can take a hold of. This game literally engulfs my life. Before I go to sleep, I go on my phone and I just start building lists, trying to figure out what I can take, what I shouldn't take, what can get me the most points. I have a huge backlog of just lists that I have of different ways to play different armies. And it's not something where it's unhealthy or anything like that. It's just that I have a hobby that I can enjoy when I'm not even playing the game. Playing a game of 40K is unlike any other. It's a game based around strategy, and there's literally no one else you can blame but yourself for your mistakes. Like, I don't have teammates I can blame. I can't be like, oh, jungle diff. I can't be like, oh, this guy wasn't at Baron at this correct time, or why aren't you rotating? Like, I don't have anyone else to blame for losing a game except for myself. And I think that is so refreshing to have, where I can just blame myself and not get upset at other people for not doing what they need to do, but I get upset at myself for doing stuff that I was supposed to do, but I didn't. So it kind of adds more responsibility to me, but I enjoy it. It's more fun. It's like when I used to play StarCraft, you know, like it was just me against the other person, and then if I wasn't good enough, if I didn't have a high enough APM, then I lose. And there's no such thing as GG next. I mean, both players come into this game expecting to invest a couple of hours into a single game, and you know, you have things like your setup time, you have to pick your secondaries, you're talking to the guy, you're putting down your models, and then turn one happens, and then, you know, if you say GG go next, it's kind of a dick move to do. You're stripped off of all the beta bitch excuses that you could possibly have about a game, and you're left with just yourself. You can complain about your dice, but that just means that you're a bitch. And you don't even have to play competitively in order to play the game. I mean, like, you can create a narrative. GW gives you all the tools that you need in order to play with your models, and that's kind of the point, right? If you want to create a game where it's like the objective is that you have to have these Tyranids protect this fusion reactor in order to exterminatus the planet, that's totally feasible, and you can do that. And you have so much flexibility in order to make the game that you want to play. Now, having to keep track of so many rules, constantly having to pay as more and more rules come out is so, it's like, it's okay, but at the same time, it shouldn't be this expensive. I shouldn't have to be spending even more money when you're gimping us out on our models. All right, so we have all this right here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books here. And then we have a bunch of books here. I don't know how many we have. Do you guys know how much we have? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You have 5?
I have 3 in my backpack.
You have 3?
So I have Drukhari, Dark Angels, Death Guard, Sheridan 1, Sheridan 2. So
Okay.
that's 5 more books.
And then Raph has extra books too.
I have 2 at home.
Yeah, and then God knows how many fucking books Bricky has.
Oh, and sisters. I have sisters. That's 6.
And sisters, so 6. 40 something books, right?
Yeah, we have an encyclopedia.
On average, probably like around $40 maybe.
Yeah.
40, 45 around there.
Yeah.
So 40, what? That's 1600. That's $1,600 that we spent on just books alone.
I could have been an army. I could have been an army.
A very poorly painted army off of eBay.
I don't understand why GW has to release all these different amounts of books so fast. Like these Psychic Awakening books, half of them you can't even use anymore. You can't use half of Blood of Ball. You can't even use anymore. And then I had to buy this fucking magazine. I had to buy this magazine.
There's a lot of rules in those fucking white doors.
Yeah.
I know about.
And then this thing, this Grand Tournament 2021 is the biggest fuck you I've ever seen from GW. Literally every single mission from the last part of this is the same. Mm-hmm. The same secondaries as well. I don't get it. I don't understand why GW is Now, I'm not gonna lie, the pricing for this game can be pretty hefty. Woo! After all, this is a luxury hobby. However, there are ways that you can get into it cheaply. Like, obviously, don't buy 2,000 points of an army and just buy something like a Start Collecting box and work yourself up from there. Hell, even getting the Indomitus box or any of the combo boxes that GW is coming out with, buying it with a friend and splitting it right down the middle, and boom, you've got 2 1,000 point armies that are super easy to paint and build. But some of the pricing on these models, man, are fucking ridiculous. Talos costs $55 a model, and you're probably going to run them in a group of 3. That's $165 for 1 unit that's about the size of a small McDonald's cup. Only 1 unit. That's not even your entire army. Tyranid Warriors come in a box of 3 that cost $55 each. And you're probably going to run 2 squads of 9 of them at $55 when there's only 3. That means that you're gonna be spending about $330 without tax just to get 2 squads of 9 of these guys. Biovores are 1 model and they cost $41.25. Noise Marines, you need to buy an extension kit in order to even put them on the board. And if you want the leopard skin print DLC pack or version of Noise Marines, which looks absolutely amazing, one of them, just 1 model, is going to cost $36 fucking dollars. Now, don't get me wrong, not all packaging is like that. Like Termagants, they come in a pack of 12, that's a lot of bang for your buck. Demonettes come in a pack of 10, lots of bang for your buck. Again, a lot of the big models are priced pretty well, considering that this is probably the best plastic that you're going to have in any kind of miniature building hobby. Yeah, there we go. Now you can do some resin casts that are pretty cool. Things like Creature Caster has great stuff that you can proxy with. However, those are mostly demons. And also resin can be a little bit wonky sometimes, but there's some good prints out there. You can 3D print some stuff yourself if you're willing to invest into a 3D printer. But if you're looking for just straight up plastic, GW makes some of the best plastic in the game. I mean, If you just look at even just the Age of Sigmar line, the Age of Sigmar models look absolutely gorgeous. Seraphim have a dinosaur riding on top of another dinosaur. How could you not like that? Or a rat riding a bigger rat. Even with Warhammer, you have things like the Void Dragon, you have things like Magnus, Mortarion, Gazgul, Lord of Change. Those are amazing models. The amount of detail that goes into these plastics should be applauded for, but the pricing should not. Now, when I purchase models, I expect everything to be inside this box when I purchase it. It's not what happens. Now, this box, everything comes inside of it, but there are some GW boxes where the packaging doesn't give you all the stuff that you need. The biggest thing is not having the weapon options available to you. That is the thing that pisses me off the most. Now, the Flying Hive Tyrant is probably my favorite model inside of the Tyranids Codex, and I would love to give them the options of having Twin Link Devours, but it's not in the kit. Why the option's there? Why is it not in the kit? I can run the model with it. It's just that the box doesn't have it. And the only ways that you can get it is to, one, kit bash it by using the Devourer gun from a Carnifex box and then smash them together to make this, but that would mean I'd need to buy a fucking Carnifex box. The other option is to buy it off of Forge World for $25. I don't understand. The unit already costs $60. You're telling me that I have to purchase another I have to put another $25 on top of, that's an $85 model now, just because the bits weren't inside of it. But that's not all. Here, I'm gonna give you guys some more examples. This box of troops only comes with 2 fusion pistols, 2. Now, it comes with 6 models inside of it. Nice. I could use 5 of them as troops. I could probably just make this guy into a regular troop, or I could just keep him as a troop master. In all, this box set is actually pretty good. But the only drawback is that it only comes with 2 fusion pistols. That means that if I wanted to make a group of 5, I'd have to buy 2 more boxes of these guys just so I could get the option. Now, I can probably kit bash the guns, and that's not a problem. The problem is that I shouldn't have to. This box also only comes with 2 fucking caresses. Another thing where I'm gonna have to buy 2 more boxes of this just so I can have the caresses. Now, I know that there's an option where I can just buy the bits online. However, in order to do that, I'd have to find a reputable bits site, and most of the bits site looks sketchy as fuck. The other option is to buy a 3D printer. That's the problem. I don't want to buy a 3D printer. Like, imagine a new player coming into the game, picking up this box, finding out that they can only get a certain amount of weapons in here. Like, it feels like absolute shit. This Grey Knights Paladin squad kit, this thing, it only comes with 1 side cannon. I built this yesterday. It only comes with 1 of these guns in this pack. I need 4. What the fuck, GW? Oh, look, here's another box. This one, all the weapons are there, which is cool, except that it only comes with 8 models. I need 10. I have to buy another one of these boxes just to get 10 models. What is this packaging? This shit pisses me off. But luckily, most people are pretty understanding of this, and, you know, like the idea of WYSIWYG, or what you see is what you get, isn't that big of a deal unless you're going to something like a GT or an RTT or a major where it actually matters. Otherwise, most people, unless you're an asshole, are okay with your models not being WYSIWYG. I just wish that GW gave us the option to make the idea of what you see is what you get actually more viable and not fucking ridiculous where you have to kit bash all of your shit in order to get the right weapons that you need. Now, I made a video talking about Forge World for a bit, and I kind of just want to expand on that. Quality control of Forge World is a fucking joke. For the price that you're paying for these models, you would think that the quality control would be better and that the resin would be better, because some of the resin on these models are not that great. I mean, look at Squidmar's video unboxing a Tau Mana, or Manta, whatever the hell you want to call it. The thing costs over $1,700, and it came in warped. It came in warped. Also, don't leave these guys out in the sun, because apparently the resin melts. So, like my poor Harridan that is now tilting on its side, I'm gonna have to stick it inside of a freezer, break it apart, and then blow dry it and try to bend it back together. That sounds fun, right? And if you thought that the pricing on just regular plastic models was bad, bro, the pricing on Forge World models, it's even worse. That's what makes me so upset, because these models are so expensive, but the cast, like the prints are usually come in warped. The fact that recasters can print something so similar to Forge World that they're nearly identical in every way, shape, and form, it's just like ridiculous that the stuff that comes from Forge World is either always sold out, they're so expensive that no one wants to buy them, or that you do actually buy them and they come in fucked up and warped. The fact that it's so hard to even get artwork from the company, from like just Googling it, is insane. GW, here's a big secret. People want to make videos about your game. Why are you making it harder? What the fuck? Like, it's so hard to find artwork for this game that's like not shittily uploaded or has like a really bad resolution without having to sit there and fucking photocopy the goddamn books. This brings me to the story of the grand opening day for the Games Workshop Cafe and Bar, or no, the Warhammer store, what's it called? It's called the Warhammer Store and Cafe in LA. We went to the grand opening of the Warhammer store and cafe over in LA. And we went there on a Saturday, which is usually a day that we stream, because I was like, oh, we can make a video about this. We show up, apparently on their Facebook page of that day, and they did this on Facebook. They said that you are not allowed to record anything inside the store because of other people's privacy. Bitch, you uploaded this notification on fucking Facebook. I believe that we got there at about 8 o'clock. The store opens up at 9. Already when we got there was this massive line that stretched across like maybe two or three blocks, somewhere around there. And so we went all the way to the end. We had a friend that was like in the middle of the line, and he was like, oh yeah, I'll come back with you guys. He didn't care. We all thought that we were gonna get in at a reasonable time. Starts up at 9. It's in the blazing hot sun during the summer. There's no shade. The store never offered anybody any water. Nobody came by to offer us any information on what's still available. You know how when sometimes you can go to a restaurant and then they can text you when it's your time to get in line or it's your time to come up to the store? Yeah, there wasn't that. We were just all literally standing in the hot sun waiting to get inside the cafe. So that's a strange launch in fucking LA. But here's the big problem. We stood inside that line for about 4 hours, and the distance that we went was probably the distance of this fucking hallway. That's how far we moved during the course of 4 hours. By that time, we were like, oh, you know what? We're not gonna get in there. Let's just leave. So we left. But we brought our friend that was there, and we put him back inside of the line his position in line that he was originally in. And we left to go get food and then went back to our friend's place in order to hang out. And the guy that was there, they were like, hey, if you get inside, let us know so then we could buy stuff. He gets inside at about 3 p.m. This guy got there at, I believe, 7. Gets inside, he gets one of the last promotional models that were there. The whole reason why we wanted to go there was because there were promotional models. When he gets inside, the fucking place, there's only one goddamn cash register. Oh my God, there was only one cash register. He had to wait in line again for another 2 hours. What the fuck? Oh my God. Like how stupid do you guys have to be? Oh man, I'm pretty sure that somebody out there got fucking heat stroke and you guys only had one cash register. I mean, like, you guys could literally have gone outside and said, hey, now there was some debacle of people saying that, oh, they were expecting to have 2 cash registers by that time, but one of them didn't come in time or got lost in transit. You could have told the people that were waiting in line there. You could have told us. We could have understood. We would have replanned stuff. We would have come in at a different time. But no, you guys just kept it. Where is the transparency? This is 2021, people. I know that this isn't comparable because it's Disney, but on the day that the Marvel campus opened up over at Disneyland, me and John P went there and he had to wait in line to get inside the campus. When he was in line, he only had to be in line for about 4 hours to get inside. And then it was another 1 hour in order to ride the fucking Guardians of the Galaxy ride. He could have gone in line
ridden the Guardians of the Galaxy line, went back in line to get into the Marvel's campus, get back inside, and then ride the Guardians of the Galaxy ride again by the time that this guy got inside of the store and purchased some models from Games Workshop.
Honestly, I could complain over and over about Warhammer, much like every other thing out there. Every hobby, game, or piece of entertainment that we constantly consume can be complained about for days on end. I mean, look at the state of YouTube and how most content is just how shitty something is, or a video essay of someone complaining about how bad a video game or product is. But even while I was making this video and trying to come up with topics that weren't just nitpicky about the game for things that I hated, it was kind of hard. Meanwhile, the amount of stuff that I love about the game, I can make an infinite amount of videos about. And it would be way more timeless than the complaints. Even when taking the good and the bad, in my opinion, the good outweighs the bad on every level. And it's such a breath of fresh air, being able to pick up something or go into a hobby that's more positive than it is negative. It gives me comfort knowing I can simply pick up a model and all that's there is just me, this model, and the story that I want to tell.